Holla! What's going on, guys? Okay, so Preacher is back in action. So what does that mean for us? For our lovely, lovely viewers? Well, first of all, today is going to be Q&A day, but I decided to combine it with a little bit of fun for you guys. Is what I've done in the background is, because I returned from holiday after being away for 2 weeks and having no good internet, is I decided to show you exactly what you guys have been asking for over and over again, and that is a PvE run in Heroic on my Frost Death Knight, my main character. Item level about 390. So I've just stuck that in the background for you guys just to watch. And what you'll notice is actually something quite interesting, or I found quite interesting. It's like riding a bike. In the first few minutes of the video, you'll actually notice I make a shit ton of mistakes. Loads and loads of mistakes. That's basically because you forget a little bit of how to do things. And, you know, you pick up little habits here and there that you pick up because you're playing all the time. And because I had 2 weeks off, I didn't have those little habits. And it took me a little while towards the end of the run before I started to get back into my swing. What you'll notice is I also realised I still have my slow spec, which I use in raids. For Heroic Beth Tilak, the spider, I have to deal with a cave. So I'm not exactly using my main PvE spec here. I've got some damage reduction on what I normally put out, but it's still pretty close to what I do, and plus I've got the damage buff as well. So what you'll see is me pulling off about, I think in total at the end of the run I pull off about 60-65% of all the damage in the dungeon. So that's there for you to watch while I have a chat with you. What are we talking about? Well, I came back from holiday from Florida to find nearly 400 comments from you guys asking me questions, commenting on various things. So I thought the best thing to do is to stick together a little video for you guys of me answering those questions and bringing you back up to date. We haven't had a Q&A for a couple of weeks while I've been away. So what we can do is sit down and have a talk now, all right, guys? So I hope you stick with me while we have a little bit of a chat, and I'll take you through some questions that have been coming in to me. First of all, one big question that's been coming in is, how can you play every single class in World of Warcraft at such a high level? Truth of the matter is, guys, I don't play every single class in World of Warcraft to a truly high level. At the moment, I would say I only play my Death Knight to a definitely top world class level. That's why I have such high world rankings on my Death Knight. It really is the only class that I put enough time and effort into to really pull off top world class numbers. I don't play every single class as it should be played to its very, very maximum. And it'd be incredibly stupid to think that because I do videos for you guys on every single class, that I am somehow playing all those classes, every single class in World of Warcraft, and not just classes specs, so it's 30 specs, 31, including the 2 Feral Druid specs, playing 31 specs regularly enough to be at a top world level on them all. So what I want you to understand is when you see me play various other specs and classes in the games, those are not world-class level specs, world-class level play by myself. It really isn't. There are definitely tweaks and improvements that come from naturally playing that class a hell of a lot, like I have on my Death Knight, all right, guys? And those fall away very quickly, which is what you'll notice here. It's very much like riding a bike. Like I say, it's like, you know, I've been away for 2 weeks. I haven't been without internet for 2 whole weeks. Now, that is not a long-ass time, but when I came back, it was like, oh, I hadn't even seen a monitor this big. I use quite a large monitor. I haven't seen a monitor this large in 2 weeks, let alone anything else. I don't know if you've ever been to Orlando, but they use very tiny little monitors to show you their information. It basically has the very basic information you need. So, you know, those are the things. Only over the gradually course of this one run did I start to pick up my little habits and tricks again and use things more correctly. I also had a resetting of keybinds. I don't know what's happened there, but every time I pressed R, which is my blood tap button, it also tried to reply in whisper. God knows what's happened there, but I need to correct that, obviously. It was very, very strange, and I didn't notice it towards the end. So, yeah, I don't play every class at its maximum potential by any means. And certainly, I don't want you to think that you're watching. If I was to go into a raid on a hunter or a DPS warrior or anything like that, I would produce the same sort of world rankings that I produce in my Death Knight if the gear was the same. Really, it's not. It takes a little bit of time to get used to your class. And we'll get down to that question later on. So, on the back of that, it's Preach. I noticed that in this run, you said specifically that I think the Resto Shaman one was the one for this, mainly. You guys pointed out that, Preach, on your Resto Shaman video, you said you should drop totems absolutely all of the time. Yet there was a couple of packs where you didn't drop totems. Is that because you didn't want to, or are you making mistakes there? I'm making a mistake. Quite simply, I'm playing a mistake. And why am I doing that? It's because I don't play a Resto Shaman all the time, guys. I don't do it. I don't play a Resto Shaman all the time. I don't play a Survival Hunter all the time. I don't play Blood Death Knight all the time. I just don't do it. So every now and again, I make little mistakes. What I try to do, and what I aim to do, and through experience of having played World of Warcraft for such a long time, is that I minimize those mistakes even on brand new classes as much as possible, more so than what is generally found in the general player base. Okay, so that's a simple idea of what I put out to you guys, is that in general I'm doing things correctly. I'm certainly showing you via the DPS meters, the healing meters, how many people die through tanking and holding aggro, that I'm doing things far well enough to be running heroics at a decent level and pushing things such as doing high DPS or holding good threat against high DPSs, that I'm doing stuff correctly and at a decent level. All right, guys, it's a very general idea to take into account. If you follow my rules and things that I talk about in my dungeon guides, is that you're going to do more than fine. You're going to do absolutely more than fine, as I do in my guides. All right, guys? That's a simple understanding I want you to get, is that it's out there for you to take in. I don't want you to be thinking to yourself, oh, Preach didn't drop totems on that pack. I will laugh at him until he dies. No, that's okay. You can go ahead and laugh all you want. I don't mind. I really don't mind at all. In the 6 years of playing World of Warcraft, I've come up against some very, very irate people at something like that. And now that's okay. I don't play those classes all the time. I don't pretend to be the best of them. I don't pretend to be the best Resto Shaman. I don't pretend to be the best mage. I don't pretend to be the best rogue in the world. It's just not the case. What I'm able to show you guys is always through the challenge is how you can take a fresh geared character or a character you've had for a little while, sat there at level 85, and produce some decent numbers with him, and definitely stop you being kicked, being harassed, and facing all these elitist jerks that currently exist in the World of Warcraft looking for dungeon world. Okay, guys? That is our aim, is to be better gamers together. As Day9 says, be a better gamer. If you're going to spend so many hours playing World of Warcraft, you might as well be good at it. I have never understood the philosophy of, oh, it's a game. You know, play for fun, mate. I find nothing more fun, in my personal opinion, than doing quite well at a game. I find that very, very enjoyable. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't like it if I was to be kicked from dungeons. It's never happened to me properly. But I would certainly not enjoy to be waiting 25 minutes for a dungeon only to be kicked out of it for poor performance, or to see myself constantly rotting away at the bottom of the DPS meter. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy losing aggro. I don't enjoy it when people die when I'm healing them. I just don't enjoy that at all. So that's what I'm doing. I'm showing you guys how to perform well. And when I say not performing well compared to World First, because of the way the classes are laid out now, guys, you need to appreciate that even having a general understanding of your class and the abilities, as I talk you guys through, is going to give you 90% of your potential of World First progression. All right, guys? The difference between being an average player to being a top player takes a long time, but there isn't a great deal in it. That's what you need to understand, okay, guys? We've all got the same amount of fingers and toes, barring any peculiarities, but so we can all pressing the same sort of buttons. There's no trick to pressing buttons faster. You just press buttons faster, all right, guys? There's no trick to knowing that Obliterate hits harder than, you know, a Plague Strike. There's no trick to that, guys. So that's all we're doing. Everything I'm showing you is how to get on with doing this kind of stuff. So that's the first things first. No, I don't play every class to its absolute maximum. And when you guys spot mistakes, those are probably mistakes by me, and that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes in raids all the time. Little mistakes. It's about reducing those mistakes, and those mistakes being so tiny that it's not going to cause a problem for anyone else. Because I used a Frost Strike over an Obliterate in one of my DPS rotations, nothing worse is going to happen in the entire world than my DPS will drop by 1 or 2. All right, guys, that's what I'm showing you here, is mistakes happen all the time. Standing in fire or not interrupting when you should, not holding aggro are bigger mistakes. Those are mistakes that you can't afford to do, but using one spell at the wrong time, not dropping totems for one trash pack, or using a spell at slightly the wrong time is not going to cause you that much trouble, unless you're bopping the tank, which we hope you're not doing. We don't want you to be dropping hand of protections all over the tank, all right, guys? That's no good. So yeah, that's what I'm showing you, is the basics to get you through dungeons, to do decently well. That's why I cover all specs and classes. If I wanted to make it so it was, hey, I'm Preach, I'm the Frost Death Knight, I'm going to make all my YouTube channel about the Frost Death Knight. One, that is incredibly fucking boring. I'm seriously, that is so boring. That is just me playing my Death Knight constantly. I don't play my Death Knight constantly. Anybody will tell you, if you have to speak to anybody who's played with me, I play WoW very, very little. Very, very little. And why? It's because of another philosophy that I'll come to is, Preach, how have you got time to do all this? Quite frankly, all I do is I level my characters because I level very, very efficiently. And yes, I will talk about leveling, although I have nothing left to level I will do a bit of a leveling guide on how you should be leveling efficiently and quickly. I did not spend a lot of time capping my characters at all. There's a very, very efficient ways of leveling. And that's not involve cheating or using any 8 or 9 people to boost you if you're going to use the Athene method of being dragged through dungeons. That's so boring. You don't get a feel for your class doing that. I really, really disapprove of people trying to grind a character to 85 as soon as possible using techniques such as power boosting or anything like that, and then going straight into a dungeon. Unless you are a pro player or a player who's been playing for as long as I have, you are going to really struggle to pick up anything about that class, and your level 85 experience is going to suck balls. That is what's important for you guys. It's going to suck balls, and nobody wants to get a new level 85 and have a really bad time on it. Enjoy leveling. Leveling is fucking great. Some people go, oh, I hate quests. Seriously, how can you hate the quests that are currently in games? They're so fucking awesome. Even the entire zones. Oldham is my favourite zone. It's terrible for power leveling. Oldham is the worst zone for speed leveling because it's got a lot of cutscenes, quests going everywhere, here, there, backwards and forwards, some 1 and 2 quests where you're getting very little XP. But if you've capped a character and you left Oldham because, oh, this is too fucking slow, go back and do Oldham and just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience. Read the quest, what's going on. Read about the whole story of Oldham revolves around just 2 things, the war and how Harrison Ford comes in to help you, because it's so fun. It really is. And it's so enjoyable. And this is a game at the end of the day. People who take WoW too seriously, now I play an end game level. We killed Heroic Ragnaros now while I was away, and I missed it. And that means I've got small balls, but that's fine. Go back and enjoy these things and just take them in and just take some time on your own. You don't need to be logging in to get rank 1 gladiator and then gain world first raiding. And it's not about the fact that you no-life farm Zul'Gurub as soon as you capture. Now you've got all the gear you need, so I might as well level another character. Enjoy the game, guys. This game is huge. There is never nothing you can't do. Even taking an hour out of your time to go and do the sunflower stuff down in Dalaran, the old Dalaran. It's just great fun. It's there to be done. Enjoy it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. But at least you experienced it. And at least you took it in. Don't keep skipping through quests and so on and so forth and just skipping on. There's so much to do in WoW. There really is. And if you've done it 9 or 10 times, like I've done 10 times of leveling, and I was not bored at all. What makes it boring for me is the more boring classes for me. And don't be under the impression because I have every class that I enjoy every single class as much as the other. Really not the case. And that brings us to our next big question, which is asked to me all the time. Preach, someone put it to me, I can't think of his name right now. I haven't got it in front of me, unfortunately. But someone wrote me a question. You say to us that your prot warrior is your main character, yet you play a Frost Death Knight. How can that be? And how do you know what character is your main? Well, let me put it to you like this, guys. How can you find out which character is your main, and what does that mean? Having a main character or the class is your class, it can only be found out by playing every single spec in the game. It really is. And that can be easily reduced. You don't need to actually start thinking, what the fuck, Preach? I've got to level every single character in the game to find out which one's my favourite. No, that's not the case. What you do is, you mix it up a little bit, you start narrowing it down. You do use a little bit of methodology in this. First of all, do you like tanking? Do you like healing, or do you like DPSing? Well, I don't know. I've never tried either of them. Or someone told me I got to play a DPS class because tanking and healing is really hard, and people will shout at you constantly, and I'm going to sit in the corner and cry. I'm going to cry like this. No, don't do that. What you want to do is you want to level a character to around 20, 25. That's going to take you a couple of hours max in the current World of Warcraft. It really is. And really, just look at it. Do a couple of runs. Do you enjoy it? Do you like having the control? Do you like tanking? Do you like holding aggro? Do you like healing? Did you find that enjoyable? Some people, or did you just like DPSing and being mediocre at it? Now, bear in mind that there's a definite level where you start to realise that tanking and doing it badly is probably not enjoyable. Really good tanking, at least in my eyes, as I just said, my favourite class is to be a prot warrior. But tanking and doing it really, really well is so cool. I absolutely love it. Being a decent tank is awesome. It's so good. For me, and that's when I knew it clicked with me. So instantly, and I've realised I really like tanking. I really, really enjoy this. You know, once I got comfortable with the game and the general mechanics, because remember, mechanics apply to all classes. Once I got comfortable with that, I was more than happy to say to myself, I enjoy tanking. And then I picked up a prot warrior, and I tried Prot Paladin, and I tried Feral Druid, and I tried Death Knight's weren't in the game at the time, but I've obviously tried that now. Prop Warrior for me, oh, so good. And you can only do it by trying, guys. That is literally the answer I can give you, is try things out. So first of all, you're going to go, do I want to play a DPS class? Do I want to play a tank? Do I want to play a healer? So once you pick that, guys, all right, you've narrowed it down to like 4 classes. So that's already wiped away like 60% of the classes. Obviously, we can all DPS, but then DPS can be broken down even more. Do you like being a caster, or do you like being a melee DPS? Well, there's another question. I don't know. Some people love hanging back. They love chilling. Do you like pets? Do you like the idea of having a pet? Do you love having a pet? I hate having a pet. I hate having to look after my pet. I hate pet classes. I hate pet classes that rely on the pet to be alive, because I can't be arsed looking after my pet. I focus on my character, and I really hate looking after my pet. I was playing a warlock in the guild method, and we did Mimirion Firefighter, and I was a warlock, so I had to tank the head. If ever you've ever done that, or you're not sure what it is, go ahead and research Firefighter. Mimirion Firefighter in Ulduar. A warlock generally tanked the head and had to kite it around. Now, that wasn't hard for me. I found that quite easy. Basically, I spammed Searing Pain, which was our threat ability, blah, blah, blah. Very easy. What you did have to do is there was lots of AoE going on in that fight, and if all the time your pet was so liable to die that it drove me mental. It was one of the main reasons I stopped playing a warlock, is I cannot stand looking after my pet. Because if it dies, you lose so much damage, and then you have to stand and recast it, and then you lose so much more damage. So you're going to go and see, whether am I going to be a caster, or am I going to be a melee DPS? And then you've got like 4 classes to choose from. And then from there, you can easily level all 4 of them to 20, just to have a quick look. And then you've spent a nice 10 hours enriching yourself in the game. And make sure you pick different races. Don't just say, I want to be an orc. Okay. Maybe eventually you do want to be an orc, but for the experience of trying to find a main character that you really enjoy, go ahead and try and do different races, experience different things. You can even pick different factions now. So you can do, I'll be a holy paladin human. I'll be a night elf hunter. You know, all these classic Legolas type situations. Go and experience them. Why the hell not? Fuck it, it's a game. Go and check it out. And then when you find comfortable, that's when you want to do it, guys, all right? So that's another big question that's coming at me. The other one is, Breach, when will you do this? Will you do this, or this class? Every single class and spec is going to be covered, guys. It is a matter of time. Unfortunately, you can't. It's just not probable for me to try and bash out 30 specs in the space of a week to make sure everything's out there for you straight away and just throw all this content at you. It's bad for the channel. It's bad for my health, one another. I need to get various different types of gear for these things. You must understand this kind of thing. So, yes, whichever class or spec you are waiting to see, it is coming. All right, guys, so don't worry about it. It's coming. I will do it for you. I love doing it. I will do the Frost Mage. I will do all these non-PvE specs. And the final question is, Preach, will you show us videos of you PvPing? No, I will not show you videos of me PvPing because I don't enjoy PvPing. I don't enjoy it at all. It's so boring for me now. I can't stand it. I will not be PvPing. I'm sorry, guys. It just will not happen. I'm really not going to do it. I don't enjoy it. So no, I will not be PvPing in the foreseeable future. Unless PvP changes radically, I will not be showing you any PvP. It just will not happen. I'm really sorry if you're looking forward to it. There are a million PvE channels out there, guys, or PvP channels who are really, really good and really into it. Go and check them out, really. I recommend them. Just have a quick search. There's some big names out there who love PvPing. I'm the PvE guy. Come to me for your PvE. PvE is at Preach's house. This is Preach's house where the PvE is. All right, guys? So those are the big questions, big Q&A. So we've got a class guide coming tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you which one to keep you on suspense. But that's it for me today. Take it easy, guys. Podcast is next Saturday. I'll put some more info out on that. Goodbye.